You ready to put that in flight mode?
Yeah, it's on.
So this first spread is called Dead Reckoning, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You don't know why? Doesn't matter. Good shuffle. When you finish shuffling, them in 3 piles first off. Don't worry if I stop looking behind you. What's your star sign?
Capricorn.
What's your
Capricorn.
Capricorn? King of Pentacles when you turn up. Near future. Separation. Okay, look at you. Fuck me, mate. You're so funny. So, here's you. But it's an interesting phenomenon. There's Queensland. Empress card, lush tropical environment per se. So but you're going to feel really out of your depths where you are, just basically because of the whole environment of where you're going to be. In the middle here we have separation, nothing to be done about it, nothing at all. Okay, we have money coming, but that's not available to you yet. So things like checks, etc., not unfrozen. They will be. Now, your weapons training is going to be very handy for you. Interestingly enough, coming up, you're going to feel like you've got a brain tumor. I know that sounds weird, but I can see you doing this with your head a lot. I don't know whether you're going to have headaches, whether you're going to try hiding from the weather, because I think you are going to be, it looks to me like you're going to be hitting some mega storms or some mega chaotic weather. You're also really lacking in certain minerals in your body, which looks like magnesium. Is your feet cramping up at this stage in time? Feet or calves? Watch that one, because that's cramping. Of influence to you in the near future will be a fire sign woman, Sagittarius, Leo or Aries. Don't know where she fits in, but she does fit in. Okay, that's close to now time-wise. We're just starting, yeah?
Mm.
Interesting. You see the 3 kids on the table? It's really, really interesting. They don't look like they're little ones, but you're showing up as much older than they are. This is in the future. We've bypassed what's happening with your next job. There is another job coming up after that where you are, in your own weird kind of way, going to be presenting as a much older person than you are at the moment. And it's very difficult when a person's involved in any form of theatre, because the reality is the reality you're living, whether you're living on a set or whether you're experiencing the life that other people call real. Okay. But your best ally in the future is going to be an air sign person, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. Love this guy. Absolutely love this guy. This person is a mentor to you, or in some really strong way is teaching you how to build a dwelling, how to work on a house, how to concrete a yard. Strangely odd things like that. Now, super busy. But 3 kids will be of influence. They're not kids out of your body. So they're coming to me as people who would be 14, 15, 16 years of age and on the street, not necessarily knowing about family. Are they in Australia? Yes, they are. Are they in the north of the country? No, they're not. They're down in around South Australia or even the south part of Western Australia. Some kind of penance. I hate using that word, but it's weird. Some kind of penance to do with an earth sign woman, Taurus, Capricorn or Virgo, like she's going to make out that you owe her. And you're going to need to work out whether you want to go on that trip with her of emotional blackmail, or whether you want to dump it completely. That's free choice. I do know for certain that you've got weeks and weeks and months of work ahead of you. No doubt about it whatsoever. And I also know that home is going to be in a different environment to where you are living. Is it in another country? I'll reserve my judgment till I see a bit further. There's a funny expression, which I'm going to throw in there, which is know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run, which will be really, really significant when it comes to you realizing that you actually can't win a bet that's coming up for you. That will be really, really significant to your future. Heaps of words. Words are your foundation for the future. How you speak, what you say, how you say it. Past things of influence to the future. You see, you've got one little, listen, you're married to your body. Got to be aware of that. Got to love that puppy, okay? Nobody else has got this skin, all right? Got to love it. Got to make certain that you keep out of the sun, very definitely, okay? Most important. Now, you are going to be shot over and over and over and over. Seriously. I'm talking literal shooting. You're going to love it. You're working with weapons, definitely going to be involved in here in murder, violence, criminality, etc. Is this to do with your work? It doesn't really say. You could be a mafioso for all I know. Don't look over your shoulder and pretend I don't. Anyway, fighting, conflict, all of those things, negotiation regarding fights, for kite scenes. Interestingly enough, I'll get a spread like this for somebody who's working in, what is it called? They jump out of windows and flames. Stunt work. So this is very much up your alley. Really exciting. Really good way. One of the most exciting things is how to die on stage. Okay, really exciting things like that. Everything else will be ordinary into comparison to whether... An interesting one, because I just saw a documentary recently on Steve McQueen, and he did all his own stunts. So this is this kind of situation, okay? So you're born to love your body, but to do terrible things to your body. I've influenced to you, fire sign man, Sagittarius, Leo or Aries, not showing up as an enemy. I like him, really interesting, but there will be bad blood between the two of you. Okay, that's just a little bit like clash, wherever he fits in. Your over water connections, really. Okay, let's get on to the future. That cracks the cards open. This is probably going to roll forever, doesn't matter. I have no idea what's working and what isn't. I can cut it up to 2 minutes.
That would be great.
Good shuffle, one pile. The next spread is called the Grove in the Advanced Tarot book, just so that anybody watching this knows what it looks like when it's actually spread out. So this particular spread can be read holistically, or it can be read in small increments, depending on what turns up. Ooh. So there's a bit of dark night of the soul going on for you. Not the full caboodle. Just a whack of it in increments. See there and there? Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2 aspects out of the 3 aspects. Oh, you're going to... I don't know if it's got to do with this next production that you're involved with. I really don't. But you're going to play a dope grower. Mega. Okay, that's there. All right, that is your next role. That's for certain. Now, what have I got? I've got connections in here with the water sign man, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, who will have dealings with psychology or psychiatry. He's a counselor. He's a good man. He'll be an ally to you. That's one. I have a fire sign man, Sagittarius, Leo, or Aries. The light's a bit of a burden. Trapped in a situation, conflicting situation to do with family that's really ugly. Really ugly, and either he or the person he's dealing with is caught up in an addiction, and that addiction is hardcore. Okay, so the hardcore addictions to me are heroin, OxyContin, alcohol, methamphetamine. Okay, so he's caught up in that, and as such he'll be involved in a really dirty domestic scenario. Okay, now there is somebody close to you claiming to be pregnant who isn't. That's interesting, and their miscarriage will be a fake. Fun. Very heavy involvement with music, and it's going to be too loud where you are. Okay, not nice. Also, when you head north, which is that 3 of Wands there, so many people, you will not be sleeping. All right, now, I've influenced to your air sign woman, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. She's okay, but she has an agenda, and you just got to be aware of that. Is that raising up any kind of worry in my consciousness when I look at it? No, it's just she's very wary. She's very wary of relationships. She's very wary of anybody, actually. She doesn't necessarily like to tell people what to do, but she's really good at it. Okay, will you be working with her, or is it in your private life? This is definitely in your private life. Now, what else have I got? Water sign person, Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, doesn't know when to fucking stop writing. Put the pen down, dude. Finish that puppy. Done. You keep tweaking that thing and it's going to end up going nowhere. So it's to do with the writing project coming up. All right. In 4 days, 4 weeks, 4 months, or 4 years, you have a reunion in San Francisco. Right. This next spread is going to be the Stargate.
One pile?
Yep. You got the quivers. It's the sugar going through your system from the strawberries. Okay. I'm sure that I know who that water sign man is, Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, but I'm not going to say, but I'm sure I know who that person is in your reality. As if I've either met them or had connections or you've spoken of them before. Now, well, you're definitely working in here with what appears to be the federal government. It is really, really interesting, okay? I love the little snaps, the visual snaps that are happening in this particular instance. And you're just going to be like preening. I'm Mr. Gorgeous. Thank you very much. Strutting your stuff, feeling really good about it. That's excellent. There's very strong connections in here with your father and your father's health, which is very problematic. It will remain so, but I'm not seeing a death on the table. You are dealing with people with the moon card sitting there in the sphere of hood, which is associated with Mercury. You're dealing with people who are liars, is what it is. Okay, or deceivers, deceit will be all around you. Be very careful of what you say and how you say it and to whom you say it. Bit of disillusionment. But again, is this going to be to do with the production you're involved with, or is this going to be in real life? Either way, I would be very wary if I were you. For a period of time, you're going to be a homeless person, is what it is. All right. Interesting. I don't want to get into your sex life, but it's going to be busy. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about that. Pretty excited about that for you. What else? Water sign man, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Really love this guy in your life. Really bit of a straight shooter, straight talker, really clear cut kind of a person. Very much so. Loves or can't pass a mirror without looking into it. That'll show you who that is. All right. Time spent. Major capital city. You're a city person. You can go to the country, but it'll kill you after a while. Okay, you need to get into the very, very heart of the city. Haven't got anything to do with disease or impairment or anything anywhere. Okay, good with technology. Like your work with technology. Less is best. That's your 9 of Pentacles in that particular position. Dealings with family. You've got 4 family members that you are just going to be sitting with and discussing things like a will. Not that anybody's dying, but things are going to be discussed to do with wills, family trusts, things along those lines. Very definitely. Okay. In all instances, this is Bruce Lee. Avoid the fights. Yeah? Be water. Best way to describe that. That Ace of Wands, where it was in the Three of the Ace, you've got to be able to write a good sex scene, or there's something wrong with you. You're going to need to write good sex scenes, and you will be abused because you're not writing good sex scenes, because you are not. And I know about that because I wrote a production at one stage in time, and I said, and then they had sex, and the person who was reviewing my script said, "Can you be a little bit more graphic? Thanks very much." Slide a thumb along the inside of the jeans, for fuck's sake. The next spread that's coming up is known as the warning spread in some, I think, the old book that I wrote. But in this one, it's called the horse latitude, which we would have a discussion about if you were curious at any stage as to why I've called it that. But it works.
I'd love to know why.
Not now. Okay. Okay, I know what this is about. This is fun. Got to bear in mind that warning spreads are good for you. You know about it beforehand, you can stop an unwanted event from happening. Now, this is so clear. It's like my nose. You've got three. 1, 2, 3. One of them is you really have to be on top of your dental work. Okay, that's one thing. Back of your mouth feels like it could have to do with the left side of your jaw. Get it checked out when the time comes so that you don't end up having problematic. And it's right at the back.
Okay.
That's first off. You'll find it when you're yawning. When you're yawning, you might click.
Yeah.
That click is problematic.
Okay.
Okay. Star card, of course, can be many things in many circumstances, but it's film, visuals, visual arts in here, IT, Los Angeles, Perth. But top line, let's have a look at that. So there's a lot of collaboration showing up of significance, but it's interesting that you go to North Queensland because this is not showing up as North Queensland. This is showing up as very south. So it could be down around the Bass Strait type area, or it could even be Tasmania, because I am looking at Australia in this particular instance. There's a production going to go ahead with 3 of you. It's fucking excellent. It's fantastic. But their warning, justice card, makes certain that everything's on paper. And when you're dealing with authority bodies and you're discussing money, etc., paper trails, that's it. And then you achieve what you want to achieve. But if you miss out on the paper trails, any one of the 3 of them misses out on the paper trails, you miss out on the deal. Very interesting, because that can also include things that most people never look at, which is terms and conditions. Okay, look at them. There's a lot of work showing up for you, which is really awesome. Now, oh, I can see a wedding. You're attending a wedding. You're not one of the participants. You're not either the bride or the groom, but you will be the best man at a wedding for somebody who's very close to you, who is involved in a same-sex relationship. No problem whatsoever, but you will have to change your plans if you intend to follow through with it. Okay, it is a little bit Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, just so you know. But it's the star card says, yes, as long as there's transparency, all of this will go ahead quite nicely. Interesting. Several little bits, nothing to really wreck you unless you sort of don't listen to them. So I would be paying attention to that one more than the rest of your reading. More future. Good shuffle. Cut them in 3. Choose a pile. Okay, so let's have a look. Any ones you didn't pick? All that water. Look at all that. Okay, so in some ways, with the Hierophant behind you, you have been married or a marriage type situation. Okay, there's been massive changes to do with that, massive changes to do with your relationship to the idea of being in that situation in here. And even though there's sort of like there's massive changes because of it, you've got a Chariot card in the middle, so there is a victory to do with that. Okay, so you'll be really glad when winter is over. Everything starts to happen as of the 1st and 2nd of September for you. No matter what's happening beforehand, 1st of September of 2021 says take care of business, be totally practical about opportunities that come your way. No doubt. Dealings in here with legal matters. Do you drive a huge truck yet? Because yes, you will. And this is almost like as if, you know, the ones you get when you're in the mining environment. It's like, oh, it's just big fuckers. That's going to be a thrill. Okay, that's one of the unexpected perks that's associated with your work coming up. You'll be surrounded by dogs. That's interesting. They look like dingoes, but they're not. So the next phase along from that will be, they could be kelpies, or there's a connection with sort of like blue cattle dogs. I've got this connection in here with pack of dogs. Love your connection with the pack of dogs. Is this in your private life? No. But is your private life your work? Crossovers, big time. Knight of Cups, loving every bit of it. Okay, you do have more licenses coming your way, which is going to be either truck license, motorcycle license, boat license, your plane license, whatever you're going for. You'll be doing it in 2022 because you want to, not because you need to. So more future. Okay, working on yourself, working for yourself, working with yourself. Everything about you is all about the work. Okay, you've got 3 enemies in 3 women. Whew. Knives in the back. Okay, just be aware of it. Know how to work yourself so that you're not affected by it all that terribly much. You will be in Victoria when this situation to do with these 3 women comes through. It is what it is. Do you have to work it? It's what you do. You go deeply into the psychology of any scenario or any situation, and you're working how best to deal with that. Okay, got a I don't think this is uncommon to see this 2 of Pentacles in the sphere of consciousness, which is where you're trying to weigh up the justice of any situation. Okay, but the justice of any situation says that if you get clipped on the jaw, how do you respond back to that? Really interesting. If you're under threat, how do you respond to threat of any description? And it's really interesting that it's worth reading or coming to understand Sun Tzu's Art of War, because very often it's the deflection that's necessary in a situation of threat rather than the full-on attack. If you're going to attack, you just better do it in one punch. And if that means one word, it's better than sort of like sparring for round after round after round and finding yourself sort of like just getting tired of it in the end. Okay, but your emotional need for justice can sometimes tie you up to the point where you can't get out of whatever you've set up. Okay, now, oh, that's interesting. A fire sign man, time to die. Don't even think about who it is. A fire sign man, time to die. He would have put this off long time. He would have put it off, and I'm now seeing stage 4 cancer in a person who's put it off long time. Okay, don't even think about who it is at this stage in time, but it'll go in your face, really in your face. Oh my goodness, that's who it is. Okay, but they'll deal with it in such a way as, I'm not going to go to hospital, give me the good drugs, let me die at home. Okay, and that will happen for the person, despite the objection that will come from authority bodies over this. Your ally at the time, around the time, because you'll be involved in this death in some way, so it's pretty close to you. Your ally at the time will be an air sign woman, Aquarius, Gemini, or Libra. Are people pussyfooting around the concept of death? Yes. Do people need to... is it Victoria? Not sure. I'm not even sure if it's in Australia, but what I'm looking at in here comes really strongly to consciousness is Andrew Denton's Go Gently program, because I know in New South Wales, so this could be New South Wales, because in New South Wales they don't have euthanasia laws, and so this person is going to be very certain that they're going to go out in their own way, and probably need to back out if you're not in a situation where the euthanasia laws take place. Back out when they take the green dream, thanks very much, so that you don't get charged. That's it. Okay, have you got more study ahead of you? Yes, good 4 years worth of it. Doesn't say in what. Lot of writing. You are very unsure of your writing, aren't you? I'm looking at you going, you really like more memoir, more life story, more autobiographical. Either you or somebody really close to you, you're working on a project that's very autobiographical. You do not speak the language of the person concerned whose autobiography it's going to be, even though they speak very adequate English. You don't speak their language. Interesting story. You're also not an alcoholic, okay, but you're going to need to be in a situation where you seem to be. All right, and that again could be stage or screen. Now, so, you're going to find yourself in kangaroo territory, and the reason I say that is these three here. You can see that. See those three there? Okay, so that's what happens. You're driving down the road, kangaroo comes out in front of you real fucking fast. You're traveling 110 kilometers an hour down the highway. Boom! Shaka boom. You do about that, you stop the vehicle, you get out your blade, you cut the little beastie open, you make certain you pull the guts out, leave them on the field for the raven, and take the rest of it home for dinner. Okay, excellent. All right, can you do that yet? No. Will you learn to do it? Yes. There's other things in here. There's a lot of discussion taking place with what appears to be a sexual partner, and it's a no-win, no-win situation. Okay, it's empty. What do we do with that? You'll try to, inherent in the word try is the word failure, you'll try to amend an emotionally dysfunctional situation 3 times. You're also going to be around another couple. This is not you, you won't be in a couple, this is not you in a couple situation, but you're around a couple who are going through a lot of like, how do we deal with this relationship? Okay, and you're going to be the Yentl. You do this, you do that, you do this, you do that. You've got all the information. You've got a head full of stuff that you can give out as information. Okay, really importantly. And I suppose I could help you out here, but it's not my job. All right, now the other one you didn't pick. Ooh, you really do have to do this now. What's the best way to describe it? It's all Korea. A lot of this is Korea. I know what this is. I've just got to work it out. It's kind of interesting. So, remember when Brad Pitt played that crazy man way back in his career? You will have to study madness and how to be on set as the crazy person. But the interesting thing about it is not in such a way as it's typecast. This is why I mentioned Brad Pitt. I'm sure there's a million people out there who can think of exactly what the name of the movie is, but it's an old one, and he played this masterful human being whose eyes went in separate directions. Very, very well done. And a bit of a psychopath, but with a really good sense of humor, very jokerish. So this concept of a joker comes in strongly with this particular scenario. And it says, the hangman here goes, you might have to go and hang out in a psychiatric hospital for a while to be able to get the sort of like the really, really good juju on how normal mad people are. Which is an odd thing to say, but it's not. It's the observation of people with psychiatric disabilities is one thing. Will I break away from that? I'm trying not to be too serious in this particular reading, but I can't help it. There is a lot of despair around a father. There is a lot of despair and confusion around a father, and the father in themselves is feeling a little bit helpless when it comes down to living environment and living space. But they're really disillusioned because they're not getting enough sleep, and this is in the future yet to come. Now, this is also difficult because there's planned trips over water that won't come off, and we have got a major financial depression coming on within 5 years, so it's not straight away. In the meantime, you need to sort of like, apart from career, make sure you've got your bunker dug.
I think, as you know, there's just went through recently a bit of a separation, a hard time, and I'm sort of wondering how that resolves.
Let's look at that then. Person star sign? Okay, what's Earth?
Earth.
Bam. Virgo. That is stereotypically Virgo. You crazy person. Okay, this is not about you, this is about the Virgo person. Be at peace. The Virgo person is working at their own projects, and basically if you cut it off it will shrivel. So I've got this is actually a person that you could work with really well. Okay, very, very much so. So this situation, there's no death here, there's no endings, it's just basically got to run its own gauntlet, so to speak, until the point that the emotional separation becomes an empty thing, becomes of no use to either of you. And the bottom line of this particular Virgo person is they want success in their career. Now, you will play a part in that in the future. Okay, in an interesting way, but on a team type level rather than just on an individual level. Very, very satisfactory, because this person can be really OCD when they want something to be a certain kind of way, and it's got to be my way or the highway where the Virgo person is concerned. And when they've made up their mind, they won't change their mind. But when it comes down to working, they are ace and they know what they're doing. So in some ways it's like trust the person as a human being rather than as a lover or in any relationship style. So the need to sort of work this is to talk shop. And talking shop, no problem, okay? If it gets onto the romantic level, you just turn around and say, let's get back to talking shop. That's where we're good. That's where we're good together, okay? And it's true. So I've got discussions going down in the future to do with projects that you may have connections in the weaving with this Virgo person, and it is, to quote Jamie Oliver, pucker. No problem. Okay. And I am the Queen of Doom, so if it was going to be bad, it would have been real bad. Right. So that was a productive answer.
Very good.
Question 2.
Okay. Where am I going to live? Where am I going to live?
Well, that's an interesting question, and it's an interesting way of putting it, because it's an annoying way of putting it. Where is your future home while you're still living? Because your future home is automatically going to be your grave, okay? But where is your future home? Will there just be one?
Yeah, where is my future home? Much better.
Will there just be one? And let's see whatever tarot turns up in this particular instance, okay? In your body. You fucking kidding me? Look at that. Okay. Because that's you, yes? All right. You will be living further south than where we are now, where we're sitting now, in the middle of Melbourne.
Okay.
But you've got a 2 of Pentacles, so it's part-time because you're on the road a lot. Have you decked out your van? You got a van decked out?
I have a van.
Fucking, what's wrong with you?
I have a hatchback.
Okay, maybe that's the license. Maybe you're going to get a big truck as well. Oh, this gets interesting. Hang on. Seriously, hang on. So, remember earlier I said you're going to get a license? I couldn't work out what kind it was going to be. With the risk of sounding like a nut, I've got you both on land and sea. Okay, so your living environment is going to be both on land and at sea. For it to be at sea, you're going to need to know how to sail. I could be looking at 3 years before this one takes off, but I'm very clear about it. Very clear indeed. You will just have a land-water relationship very definitely. It's not now. Three of Wands indicates 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, or 3 years from now, very definitely. You will, oh my goodness. You will pay to study this. You've definitely also got very strong connections in your future to Thailand. And that will be victorious for you. There is also a very significant, but this boat I'm looking at is it a yacht? No, it's got a motor. It's livable. No, I know what it's not. Isn't that interesting? I know what it's not is a small vessel. I know what it's not is a barge. Because Europe with barges travel the canals of Amsterdam and Britain and different aspects like that. And people do live on there's a barge culture, but I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at open sea. Okay. But the first card on the table, of course, is you. So it says you're living in your body. As far as like setting up house, doing the housey thing, you kidding? It's just not going to happen. Am I saying never? I don't say never. It's too soon to say never. Okay, you'll live through your stories and your editing ability. You've got both of those things showing up, because where will I live is not necessarily a place. It's a state of being as much as anything else. As far as like a solid, rock solid home base, no, nothing.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Last one. Whew.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to just do this. That would have stopped again. Oh, it hasn't stopped. Okay, I'm going to stop it.
Stop it and start it. Okay. Last one.
And take.
What do I focus on in my career?
That's a question that involves free will. I don't agree with that.
True. Okay.
So if you ask me what's the destiny of your career,
You could.
that would depend on your concept of success and failure.
Right.
Okay. So
Well,
that's a very important subject.
Yeah.
Because success can very often kill people like Amy Winehouse. Okay. Success is not always what even people want. A success in career is established recognition of what you're doing, and mutuality insofar as success of a career is you sitting here next opposite me, okay, because this is what I do. Do you get me?
Yeah.
More than anything else, it's a continuum.
Yeah.
So that establishment within career is who you are, and you're recognized and respected for your place within that career. If you want to spread it over to where it represents money or fiscal success or recognition on the level of celeb status, that's going into dangerous waters, and that could be dysfunctional.
Yeah.
But if we're focusing on you and the I think career is a journey down into the labyrinths of what that career represents, so that you're in a root system, and to be established in a career is where there's no doubt within yourself that you're good at it.
Yeah.
That's success. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, and when somebody else can go, all right, that's success, that mutuality.
Agreed.
If it spreads out too far from there can be a hunger and a need that is destroying the world.
Yes.
Okay, so let's see if any of that makes sense. Successful career is working in your chosen field of career.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And by that standard, I already have it.
Yeah, I know. So it's a weird kind of question, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, do you ride a motorcycle?
No.
You've got a few things to get up to.
I'd like to try it.
Yeah. Your career was established probably as a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
I know. There you are as a kid, ramming your fucking trolley into a wall. Going with the 10 of cups here is that your career is in some way connected to family, and you don't want it to be. Not necessarily that you won't work with family or be connected with family, but you want your career to stand completely as independent as that's what's important. So as a 5-year-old, there you are ramming your trolley into the wall going, look at me, and somebody's probably filming you with the old-fashioned cameras. Basically, your career has always been what you're doing. I'm going to get around to that in a minute. But what you don't want is to be stereotyped. What you don't want is to have yourself specifically associated with any family dynamics where your career is concerned. So there's a little bit of like standing apart from the people that may be around you who are connected with the industry, so that who you are as a performer, as a writer, as a director, as a producer is looked at separately to anybody you may know. And that's the success. Okay, that's the first line. Oh, look at that. You will have failure after failure after failure. Those failures are your success, because this is a mistake, 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 mistake. Look at the chariot card after it. You've got to have those failures for you to get good. It's really that simple. There's your collaboration. Really interesting. I'm not going to call you, I nearly call you by name, so okay, because where you're lacking, which you're a very technical performer, producer, director. Technical. And why I say that is because your imagination is shit. Isn't that awful? Your imagination is what blocks you. So in some ways, it's like when the imagination blocks a person involved in any form of like social media or whatever, it just basically means that you can't get everything you want. Tell that to George Miller. Definitely. This is the practicalities of money, finances, take care of business, one step at a time, walking the walk, talking the talk, you're doing it. There's nothing really to ask about in connection with that. I'm glad you asked the question, but there sort of would have been no need. Last thing, pull me 3 cards from anywhere. You can't make a mistake. This is a key for you. Switch them over in front of me. There you go. Same thing. Can you see the repeats?
Yeah.
Okay. Your key. 3 things. 1 is your collaborations with like-minded others.
Yeah.
Usually packs of 3. Any more than 3, they're extras. Okay. Second one, 6 of Wands, you can't lose. And that roller coaster ride aside, do you get me? Third one is to your benefit is to constantly say goodbye to people. Yeah? Because it's actually in your favor to be able to do that. And when they're put together, it's really interesting. Sort of like working on shows, live shows like I've done in the past, you're in this bubble, and this bubble is your entire life for the period of training, rehearsals, working with orchestras, working with people behind the scenes, working with location, the whole works. And it's an entire life, and then the show's over and you say goodbye to everybody, and there's about 3 weeks of devastation that you go through, because it's like your life is over, and you can feel like you are going through trauma and emotional loss at that time. That morning is very real, because you'll have lived an entire life within that framework for a period of time, and then you say goodbye.